the least predictable thing, or the most predictable thing, sorry, the least surprising thing is what I meant, was The Rock had a rock concert because they were in Memphis, Tennessee, and hello, it's like what, one of the music capitals of the
It
United
is, yeah,
States.
country music. I think it's, yeah, you're right.
So, yeah, we got a rock concert, and I think for the most part, there was nothing that he really said that was shocking. I think that he's kind of sticking to a script, which is expected because I mean, there's only so many things that he can really say at this point. Like, I appreciate the fact that he's been there as often as he has. So,
He's been there
yeah,
more this year leading up to WrestleMania than
yeah,
Roman was all last year.
I have stuff to say about this. So don't even worry.
Oh, I bet you do,
Yeah.
Sarah. I bet you do.
So yeah, so he comes in, and of course he just immediately goes after Cody's mom because Cody mentioned his mother on Raw when he kind of broke down and said he wanted to be able to hand the championship to his mom because his dad never got to. So he's got beef with that, talking about Cody's conception was a drunken night that Dusty regretted, talking about Seth and how he was not as popular as Becky. Um, Cody crybabies this, crybabies that, blah blah blah.
Yeah, if it followed a formula.
Yeah,
We know this. I was entertained. You
yeah,
did a
and
job. Like, yeah.
I mean, a lot of people were entertained. So I'm not saying that I necessarily wasn't, but I'm it's just expected, and so I feel like when you're someone who has watched wrestling as long as you have, you kind of expect these things from The Rock, so there's not really a shock value there anymore.
No.
So he did what he had to do, and he took, I don't think it was like nearly 25 minutes again.
No, it was almost
He's
30 minutes, which
Yeah.
yeah, that's not good. That I love the line where he quotes Moana
Mhm.
in talking about handing the bloody belt of Cody to his mom. Like, I don't think people realize that this is the best version of The Rock we could have possibly got from either scenario of them saying we're gonna go Cody from the get-go
Mhm.
or Rock from the get-go. Like, because there was some riff in the raff,
Mhm.
this is the best thing that could have happened because he is so fucking entertaining.
Well, it's like yeah, I think people don't realize, they're not thinking about, I mean, we've talked about it. Um People aren't realizing how much better this whole feud is, or sorry, hiccup. How much better this lead up to Mania is than what it could have been. Because imagine how boring a Rock versus Roman lead up would have been. Like, there isn't a whole lot of beef there because it's like their family. And The Rock hasn't really done anything involving Roman to really be like, oh, there's a history there. The Rock has done this and this and that over the past couple years or whatever, like during his tribal chief era. So it's like they would have been trying to come up with things to hype up the feud. And it's like, okay, but Roman, first of all, doesn't even really show up. Second of all, Roman can't hang when it comes to talking. So this would be another moment in his career where his opponent is just completely dominating him. So I think that we're getting a lot more out of this. And then I think that, yeah, heel Rock is better than babyface Rock. Like, this is, even if I'm not the biggest fan of it, obviously I've said that multiple times on here, I do know that this is way more entertaining than The Rock coming out every single week and being like, "Oh, yay, I'm so happy to be here," you know?
And he brought back Hollywood theme.
Mhm.
I marked out because so I hear him, he's coming out. The first thing that opens up when I see or open up SmackDown is The Rock doing the little Twitter thing where we're checking all our peeps, and you hear a drop. And once I heard the drop, I'm like, what's going on? And then, and I
Yeah.
was like, yes, like this is exactly the pivots we need to be making within this story. Is if
Yeah.
you're gonna make Rock the most, the final boss is now we're calling him. Or is that something else that
Mhm.
you want to say? Okay, and then
Mhm.
I'll wrap up. If you're gonna be doing that, you need to go back to the well to get the best versions, like the best heel versions of The Rock, and put them together for now, the majority of it is when he was Hollywood Rock. I mean, some of
Mhm.
those are the best insults, clips, whatever you want to call it, out there. And then throwing a little nation stuff, which we're kind of seeing a little bit. This all heel Rock is incredible.
Yeah, well, and I think it's the most identifiable era of him as a
Mm-hmm.
heel, and so people want that nostalgia factor when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to The Rock because obviously no one expected that he was going to come back and then be a heel. So I think if you're going to do that and have to pivot, then you have to do what people still like because this dude was getting cheered for ridiculously, which I get, to an extent, I get it because you're like, oh my God, I'm seeing The Rock. Like, I've never seen The Rock before, or it's been 20 years since I saw him at a show. So I get it. But that's why it's like, it's almost counterproductive because it's almost like Cody has to be there with The Rock in order for The Rock to get booed. Otherwise, when he's just there by himself or with Roman, they're not booing him.
I'm
Um,
not sorry. You can't. I do it to all my heel, like my buddy who's a heel wrestler. Like I will not boo you. I
yeah,
like. I'm sorry. I
it's
can't
like
do it.
I know that's what you want, but I can't do it.